Hello guys, welcome to my review of my 2008 Kawasaki ER6f, also known as a Ninja 650 or Ninja 650R in the US, but it's also known as the EX650 because that's what they got down on the V5 registration form thing. And so you might see them advertised as the EX650, and I've now had it for 4 months, as the title probably says it. And right now, as you may be able to see, the fuel light is on. Maybe I lied, it just went off just as I said that. That's because I accelerated it, just pushed what fuel is left in there at the back. So I'm obviously getting low on fuel. People say these can get up to around 170 miles on a tank. They hold 15.5 litres, and apparently when the fuel light comes on, you've got around 3.5 litres left. I've been out on it probably a couple of times since that came on, and I'm now coming up to 110 miles since I last filled up. But most of my riding is city street riding, this sort of riding, what I'm doing right now. So it's not going to be at its most economical. Obviously I'll get more mileage from doing motorway miles, but the bike itself, really fun bike, really nice bike. This one was just under 16,000 miles when I got it, so it's in good nick. It could have been in a slightly better condition on the Swingarm if one of the previous owners had been kind enough to buy a rear hugger for it. And because that hasn't got a rear hugger, there's a fair bit of rust on it where stones and dirt had chipped up onto the swing arm just behind the wheel, but it's a chunky bit of metal that would take longer than the bike's lifetime to rust through, I'd think. Now, it would be fairly easy to take that off and have it fixed, have it powder coated or something. It shouldn't cost too much if you take it off yourself, and they'll blast it and powder coat it for you. So don't worry about it if yours is like that. If it's got a rear hugger, you know it's probably okay, but obviously it's better if you can look at it. The problem with mine is that mine was 500 miles away. And also I'm now going to go and get some petrol, and there's a lot of traffic at the minute, so I might be skipping some of this. Thank you. Cheers, mate. And as you see, there are some nice people on the road. Just not everyone does it. Cheers, mate. Poor people. Thank you. What's it like to drive slowly? Absolutely fine. No problem at all. Obviously I would suggest, if it's your first big bike, it's always worth going out when it's quiet or finding a quiet spot to practice slow manoeuvres. So it can be a bit twitchy and take a little time to get used to. Being a parallel twin, they're known for their high torque, low end to mid range kind of thing. Is it easy to ride though otherwise, just general riding? Yes. If you go back after you watch this video, you can find my first ride on this bike, and when the video first started, I'm not far from my home, so it literally is my first ride on this bike. And I've been on my 125 for a while, since I passed my big test. So I hadn't been on a big bike since, how many months was it? Hang on a minute, might have to cut it. For about 8 months after I passed my test, I hadn't ridden a big bike again. Yeah, well, that's a lie, hang on. Probably about 4 months before I got this, I did it, but it's a CB500F, CBF 500, whatever it is. That I'd done a little test ride on back in February, I think it was. But yeah, that only took till I came down the road a bit. I actually ended up coming up this part of the road as well. And by the time I was here, I was already pretty confident and opening up throttle a little bit. And then took it on the dual carriageway. And once I got a nice straight bit where it's clear, I did open the throttle up fully for the first time. And that was a nice feeling. So yeah, they go alright. Is it comfortable? Yeah, definitely comfortable. It can get a little bit hot on the seat after being on it for a little while. It's a new bit of road just been laid. Yeah, after being out on it for a little while before the heat gets hot at all, and it's not usually too bad. It's definitely fun to ride. From what I can tell, being my first big bike, it does seem to handle nicely, but obviously I've still got a lot to learn. Let's just see what it's like accelerating down a nice slip road onto the dual carriageway. I do like this slip road. Don't have to worry about traffic really, you'll beat just about anything unless you find a super bike. And that'll beat that from 0 to 40, maybe 60 on some models. And it's absolutely comfortable like this. I'm now going the speed limit 70, well a little bit under, I have to go about 76 to get 70. I tested it with a GPS speeder on my phone. Oh, nicely done, Mr. Lorry. I did bet you didn't see me, didn't you? I probably should have gone up there to get off, but never mind. It's all good fun. Tap on this screen to get rid of some of the wind and stuff, but it still catches your head. You can get some good aftermarket ones that will knock the wind over a bit higher. Yeah, they're comfortable to ride, great fun, easy to get used to, easy to ride. So I definitely recommend looking out for one. Find one with relatively low mileage. If it has got a little bit higher mileage, 20, 30, even 40,000 miles, it should be okay, especially if it comes with service history and stuff. As long as they're looked after, they'll probably keep going for quite high mileage. But because a lot of people buy bikes and they don't ride them every day because they use cars to commute to work and things like that, they usually stay on relatively low mileage. Like I say, this one was just under 16,000 miles, and it's a 2008, so there's a lot out there around that, or just a little over that. Very easy to maintain as well. I haven't done much to this yet. I've obviously just done the odd cleaning things and the cleaning and lubing the chain and that, but soon I'm going to do some videos. Now I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, about maintenance and stuff. Yeah, well, I'm going to do some maintenance videos soon. I'm going to change the chain sprockets and I'm going to change the oil. I've got some levers coming, so I'll be changing them. They're quite nice ones actually. They're not the usual ones that you see. They are from China. I actually ordered them straight from China, but they're not the usual ones you'll see on most motovloggers bikes where they've got the 3 holes in, and they look decent and stuff. But I think these ones are made pretty much the same, but a slightly different design. And they're like a dual colour. They're like a silvery colour and black, and they say ER6f on them as well, which is a nice little touch. So if you want to watch them, if you're not subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. I'll probably at some point do more things, like I'm also going to actually do the brake bleeding, because I think that needs doing, because every time I get onto my bike recently the lever has been a little bit spongy until I pump it a fair bit, and then it starts stiffening up, and as I ride that gets better. But it's always been a little spongy anyway. I would change the brake lines as well, but I can't afford to buy them yet. I would put some steel braid hoses on, because it just makes your braking a little bit sharper. And I would change the pads for some better ones as well if I could. But I don't have the money to do that right now, but a few other little jobs I will do soon. We'll just come up here, have a little look around it, so you can have a look at it, and then I'll end the video. So there we go. Let's have a quick look around it. Seat needs a clean. Probably could do with a recovering as well. You can get that fairly cheap. You can buy new seats, or you can buy new covers. If I did, I might get it all black rather than that pretend seat cowl. But overall, it's a nice bike. Most of them you see are in pretty good nick anyway. Not many abused ones out there. Probably are some. Most of the ones I saw when I was looking for one were pretty good. And like I said, because you can see mine hasn't got a rear hugger. See if I can get down there but keep the sun on it. And you can see under there it's got pretty rusty on the swing arm. I'm not sure how well you can see that. That could be fixed fairly easily. Don't really know much about bad sides of it really. I haven't only 4 months. I've not noticed nothing too bad, just the spongy brakes. They might not be brilliant once they're even done, but I don't know until I do that. So I don't know if standard they are. A bit funny, but a lot of people say with their bikes, even other models, that they are, and that's why they usually put sintered brake pads in and do braided lines, which I would like to do. I would like to change the disc at some point on that, but they seem fine for now, and plus money's the issue. But overall it's good. There's only one issue with mine, and some of these models get, so these are really hard plastics, and they just put them together with no protection along each of them and stuff, so some models suffer with them rattling where they're touching together from the vibrations of the straight twin, inline twin, all the same thing. So what I've done, I've put some foam in there. I think the weather sort of like got into it and made it squish funny and stuff, so it has started to rattle a little bit again. The other side's actually fine. I did put some bits of Subaru hair just to hold them apart, sort of thing. So I might just have to take this bit of foam out, put another small bit in. That's what you can do. Just get a foam air filter. Cut some little strips of the foam air filter, put them in the gaps if you get any rattling, and you should easily be able to find the parts that are rattling and sort that out. But that's the only thing I've really had an issue with it. But I'm loving it so far still. Planning on keeping it for quite a while yet, because it'll take me a long time to save up to be able to trade it in for anything. But there you go, it's my bike. And you just saw a nice little ride on it, see what it's like. Definitely worth getting. That's just the only annoyance, man, is that rattling if you do get it. A lot of them, because that happened to a lot of these not long after people bought them. I'm about going to get going as well, so there's not much more I can talk about it looking around it. Yeah, so a lot of these did develop that. Always starts up perfectly fine. Did start developing that rattle quite early on after they were sold. So that was actually callback, or whatever they call it. I think that's what it is, isn't it? When something's wrong with a vehicle, they have callback or recall. That's the one. Yeah, they had a recall for it. So a lot of them that did develop that were sent back, and they put a I can't think what they called it, getting some sort of kit on it, which did eliminate the rattle. But obviously this one either didn't develop it at the time, or the person who owned it didn't know there was a recall on it, so it was never fitted to this bike. But that was just, again, similar sort of thing, like rubber or foam bits, strips put in under the fairing bits. So yeah, if you're looking to buy your first like 650 and you like the look of these, I'll definitely say that they are worth buying. Just look out for those little things. Be nice to have one that's had a hugger all its life and that isn't rusted on the rear swing arm. And hopefully yours hasn't got the rattle, or it's had the Kawasaki foam kit thing, or what, I can't remember what they called it, fitted as well. And I hope I covered this enough. I didn't really pre-plan it, I just thought I'll go out and do a little review, because I've had the bike now 4 months. So if you liked it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share and all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next video.
Compadre, black and white, white and ivory, and black ebony. They can't step to me. Weaponry is heavenly. They can't see us in the 313 vicinity. Hey yo, M, ha 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 ha. I come in like ha ha. I'm ill like nah nah, and y'all don't wanna see me 'cause I'm ill with the skill.